Hello. The videotape you're about to watch has been designed to help you present the StarLan network to your customers. This videotape and its accompanying workbook will assist you in qualifying your customer, identifying his needs, and offering the StarLan network as part of the total PC solution from AT&T. You will also be able to determine whether your customer is best guided toward a multi-user solution such as a Unix PC or 3B2, or is best suited for a network solution such as StarLan. We are confident that when you finish viewing this tape and performing the exercises in the workbook, you will be in an excellent position to sell the AT&T StarLan network. To help us in this program, we have engaged two main characters. Tom Irvin, the owner of several trade journals, but he certainly could be any small businessman. And of course, your customer. And Jim Moyer, the salesperson. Now let's take a look at how their meeting could go through the eyes of the salesperson.
Hi, Jim.
Hi, Tom.
Good to see you again. Oh, and by the way, thanks a lot for coming by here instead of my having to go on over to your place. We've been so busy all month here, I haven't had a chance to get out of the office at all.
Yeah, that's all right, I understand. I wanted to come by, see how your operation was doing.
Oh, that's right. Last time you were here, we were just beginning.
Yeah, that's right. You said you wanted to buy another couple of PCs.
Yeah, but to be frank with you, I'm not quite sure what it is I need. I don't know if I need a PC with a hard disk or a 6300 plus.
Excuse me. Tom, do you know where the disk for the vitamin article is? I put it in my desk and somebody seems to have taken it.
I think John was using it last, wasn't he? Why don't you go ahead and ask him?
Well, he's left for the day.
Oh. Well, I guess it'll just have to wait till tomorrow morning. Sorry about that.
Well, you certainly seem to be busy.
Yeah.
Glad to see your business is doing well. About how large is your circulation now?
I think right now our circulation is almost 45,000 subscribers.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. And our circulation is growing incredibly.
That is really impressive.
Well, thanks. We'll be doing okay with the 6 PCs that we have now, but I'm about to add on another writer, and she's going to need to be able to collaborate with other writers and submit drafts to editors, all that sort of thing. See, all my other writers already have their own PCs, and, well, they just about live by them. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to need another one. The only problem is, if I buy another PC with a hard disk, who am I going to give it to? They're all going to want it, you see, and I... Oh, excuse me.
Sure.
Bob, here are this month's accounts. Now, I did make a few changes on the projections for next month.
You did?
Well, yeah, just a few numbers.
Because I updated the entries this morning, and they changed the overall gross total.
Ah. Well, take a look at my version of the file, and then see if you need to change your entries or my entries. As I was saying, we are beginning to depend on the computer around here.
Let me ask you, how do you use the other PCs you have now?
Well, we have this one in finance and accounting. We use that mostly for spreadsheets and invoices, projections, that sort of thing. Then there's another one that I have in my office, and I use that to look at just about everything. And then my sales guy has one, and that's mostly for keeping our customer list straight. And the writers use the other 3. So if I'm going to add another writer, I think I'll probably have to add another PC. You know, and the reason I was thinking of a hard disk is, well, as an example, right now we have our entire article file spread out over several different floppy disks. Again, the problem is if I buy a new PC for the new writer and the new PC has a hard disk, I'm afraid the rest of my writers are going to be standing around in line to use it.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah. Well, to add to which is the fact that all of the PC users keep giving me grief about needing more printers.
Oh, do you need more printers?
Yeah, we do. Problem is we can't afford them right now. I just bought a laser printer for the writers.
Oh, yeah, that's quite an investment.
Yeah. So, can you give me a good deal on a PC with a hard disk?
Well, I think you're going to need more than just another PC, Tom. Frankly, I believe you could use one of our local area networks.
Well, Jim, thanks for the offer, but I think all I'm really going to need is a PC. We're just not that big yet.
But you can connect all your PCs
no,
together.
Jim, please. Just a PC.
Well, that certainly didn't go so well, did it? Part of the problem here is that Jim, our salesperson, failed to ask some of the right qualifying questions. Now let's put you in the picture and see how you would have handled the situation. Let's go back to the first point when Jim could have asked a key question. Do you remember when this happened?
Excuse me. Tom, do you know where the disc for the vitamin article is? I put it in my desk and somebody seems to have taken it.
I think John was using it last, wasn't he? Why don't you go ahead and ask him?
Well, he's left for the day.
Oh. Well, I guess it'll just have to wait till tomorrow morning. Sorry about that.
Now at this point, don't stop the tape. Just turn to the exercise section in your workbook and write the question you would have asked of your customer. You'll have 30 seconds to do that. Now let's see what Jim could have asked of Tom.
Let me ask you something, Tom. Do your users frequently need to share files?
Oh, yeah, quite a lot. You see, although we have different people performing different tasks, a lot of the information that's used is very often the same.
Well, this customer certainly qualifies on that count. Let's go to another one. Remember when this happened?
Well, you certainly seem to be busy.
Yeah.
Glad to see your business is doing well. About how large is your circulation now?
I think right now our circulation is almost 45,000 subscribers.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. And our circulation is growing incredibly.
That is really impressive.
Well, thanks. We'll be doing okay with the 6 PCs that we have now, but I'm about to add on another writer, and she's going to need to be able to collaborate with other writers and submit drafts to editors, all that sort of thing. See, all my other writers already have their own PCs, and, well, they just about live by them. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to need another one.
Now, what qualifying question would you have asked of Tom? Again, turn to your workbook and write your question. See you in 30 seconds. Now let's see what Jim could have asked of Tom.
Well, Tom, I can see that your business is growing pretty rapidly. What do you think this is going to do to your PC usage?
Well, you're right. We are growing at a pretty incredible pace. And hiring a new writer is just the beginning of some big changes that are going to go on around here. And I'm sure that I am going to need more PCs sometime in the year.
Well, there's another one. And what about when this happened?
Sure.
Bob, here are this month's accounts. Now, I did make a few changes on the projections for next month.
You did?
Well, yeah, just a few numbers.
Because I updated the entries this morning, and they changed the overall gross total.
Ah. Well, take a look at my version of the file, and then see if you need to change your entries or my entries.
At this point, which question would you have asked? Turn to your workbook, and I'll see you in 30 seconds. Well, Jim certainly should have asked the following question of Tom.
As I was saying, we are beginning to depend on the computer around here.
Tom, do your users often share the same spreadsheets or documents?
Oh, most definitely. Well, to give you an example, our writers write their articles from research that's in our database. And then their articles get passed along to the editors. And now that's all just within the writing department. The accounting and billing department has just as many files that they share among themselves as the writing people do. So, to answer your question, yes, we do have a lot of files that we share.
One more question that allows you to qualify your customer. Now let's move on to the next time Jim could have asked a question.
You know, and the reason I was thinking of a hard disk is, well, as an example, right now we have our entire article file spread out over several different floppy disks. Again, the problem is if I buy a new PC for the new writer and the new PC has a hard disk, I'm afraid the rest of my writers are going to be standing around in line to use it.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah. Well, to add to which is the fact that all of the PC users keep giving me grief about needing more printers.
At this point, which question would you have asked? Turn to your workbook and I'll see you in 30 seconds. Well, Jim certainly should have asked the following question of Tom.
Tom, have you considered having more people share expensive peripherals like your laser printer?
Oh, I'd love to. I know that moving the floppies back and forth or moving the printer is not the most efficient system. But given the options, that's all I can do for now.
Well, there you have it. Having asked the key questions, you have qualified Tom as a potential networking candidate, and you are now ready to present StarLan. Before we see Jim's presentation, turn to your workbook and read the StarLan Network overview. When you finish that section, you will have an opportunity to match Tom's needs with the StarLan features and benefits that best satisfy those needs. Now, when you are done with that, come back to the videotape and we will see how Jim presents StarLan to Tom. Please stop the tape now. Now that you have qualified your customer and have had a chance to review the features and benefits of StarLan, let's take a look and see how Jim presents the key benefits of the StarLan network.
Tom, you certainly have needs that go beyond buying a PC. For one, you need to share files, don't you?
Well, yes.
Well, let me tell you about something that may help you with that.
What is it?
Well, it's called the StarLan network, and one of the most important things about it is that it'll give you the ability to share files. See, no more lost or borrowed disks.
Yeah.
That and much, much more. It's been especially designed for growing business needs like yours.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, Tom, one of the most attractive features of StarLan is that it's very easy to install. You just plug a network access unit card into each computer you plan to use. And then, by plugging telephone cable into the NAU, you connect the computers. Now, to install the software, just insert the single disk, and the screens will prompt you step by step through the simple installation and administration procedure. And that's all. After that, you'll be able to use the PCs and applications as you always have. But now, you can store and share all your files on the server's hard disk. And you don't need a big network either. Now, our daisy chain configuration supports as few as 2 PCs and as many as 10. And you can grow as rapidly as your needs dictate. And StarLan is based on low-cost twisted pair wiring. Just plain telephone wire.
But what if we need more than 10?
All you'll need is a network extension unit to expand into a star configuration for as many as 100 active workstations, depending on the applications.
So I can start with what I need and...
Grow to what you need. See, StarLan supports as few or as many workstations as you want.
But I have several MS-DOS computers, and they're not all from AT&T, Jim. I don't want to have to get rid of them.
Well, the StarLan network supports not only your AT&T 6300s, but also your IBM PC XT and Compact. Your present workstation investment's protected. And when you're ready to go beyond MS-DOS to a multi-user environment, StarLan also supports Unix-based computers like the Unix PC or the 3B2.
Well, I don't think I really need anything like that.
Well, you know, you mentioned your subscription list. Now, if your needs grow and more people need to access and process that file, then a Unix-based computer may certainly be your answer. But the important thing is that if and when you need it, StarLan will support your future needs of Unix while protecting your present MS-DOS investment. And the beauty of it is that you won't have to learn a single Unix command.
Well, that's great, but it brings me to another question. How hard is StarLan to use? I remember it took some of us a long time to master MS-DOS.
The menus make working with StarLan incredibly easy. You just select the command you want and you're off. Just a couple of commands and you're sharing an important file with other members of your team. A couple of other commands and you're routing a print job to your high-speed laser printer.
Well, wait a minute. You mean to say that I don't have to stand in line waiting to use a laser printer?
No, not only that, but if you send a file to be printed and the printer is tied up with another job, the StarLan print spooler queues up your job and prints it later.
Now that is a good feature.
And while StarLan extends the convenience offered by personal computers, it adds the security features you need to protect files or share them just as easily.
Well, that's pretty important around here, but my biggest concern about networks is the industry shakeout. Will StarLan be around 2 years from now?
The answer is yes, and that's because StarLan is based on industry standards. It's compatible with MS-DOS 3.1 and the NetBIOS interface supported by AT&T and IBM. In addition, StarLan conforms to CSMA-CD technology,
Which is?
an IEEE standard for data collision detection on local area networks. But more importantly, you have to remember it's from AT&T, which means you can count on service, support, and training, now and in the future.
Well, it does sound convincing, but I really thought that when I needed to expand, I would just go to a multi-user computer system. And from what you've pointed out, maybe I am much more ready for it than I thought. I mean, maybe that's a better option than StarLan.
Now, Jim is at a very important key point that needs to be considered here. The question is how to offer the best solution to your customer, given the multi-user option and the networking option. Given the scenario we have just watched, how would you guide your customer to the right solution? At this point, turn to your workbook and read the section on multi-user and on networking. Then come back and we will see what Jim has to say about it. Now that you have read the material, let us look into Jim's answer about Tom's networking and multi-user needs.
There are some things that a multi-user environment can provide you, and StarLan doesn't rule out the possibility of that need down the road. I do think, however, that you're much more in need of a networking solution right now.
Well, why do you say that?
Well, suppose you were thinking of installing an accounting system with multiple clerks entering a lot of transactions throughout the day. Now, if that's what you wanted, then I would certainly say that you had the type of activity that's better suited for a multi-user system. And if you wanted that later on, all you would need is to add it to the StarLan network. But right now, since your operation centers around individual use of personal computers as much as it does, then networking is much more the answer to your present needs.
Well, yeah, we do a lot of individual computing.
And if you have a strong commitment to MS-DOS...
Well, that's very true. I don't want to get rid of my PCs.
Oh, not only your PCs, but your applications and files. I mean, they're all MS-DOS dependent. And as you said, your people already know how to use MS-DOS.
Well, a good point. But, Jim, although my accounting people would like a more sophisticated accounting system, and that is the way I want to go eventually, I just don't think I'm ready to take the leap right now. That's why I'm hesitating on this network move.
Tom, when accounting needs a multi-user system, you can add it to your StarLan network and retain your investment in your PCs. Install your StarLan network now, take advantage of all its features which you need today. Then, down the road, when you need it, get a Unix PC or a 3B2 multi-user system for accounting. All you'll have to do to give everyone optimum capability is to connect your 3B2 to the StarLan network, and you'll have all the qualities of a multi-user system for the people that need it, your accounting team, as well as the advantages of a network system for the rest of the company, and all of them with full connectivity. Your PC users will have a more powerful file server and the occasional access they need to your accounting data.
Well, you know, I always thought that I would have to go directly from individual workstations to a multi-user environment. But I see your point about the advantages of networking. So, you really think I'm ready for a network environment?
Tom, in one word, absolutely.
Now that you have qualified your customer, identified his needs, presented the features and benefits that can best satisfy those needs, let's take a look at some of the typical questions and objections your customer may have. Without stopping the tape, turn to Module 4 in your workbook. Here you will have the opportunity to respond to Tom's questions and objections in the space provided in your workbook. Are you ready? Here is Tom's first objection.
I hear that the StarLan network runs at only 1 megabit per second, which is not as fast as other PC networks. Why should I go with the slower system?
StarLan network supports greater throughput than existing PCs can handle. Faster transmission speeds may sound impressive, but they only add cost, not performance, to a network. The 1 megabit per second transmission speed of the StarLan network is adequate for user needs now and for years to come. Plus, the use of twisted pair wiring makes the StarLan network easy to reconfigure, unlike other networks that use expensive coaxial cable.
We have a pretty big office. How far apart can our PCs be?
For star configurations, there is a maximum distance of 800 feet from the NEU to the workstation. This maximum distance will be sufficient for nearly all users, since studies have shown that in 95% of all configurations, PCs are within 200 feet of one another.
I've heard that StarLan is hard to use.
StarLan network menus make working with a network a snap. You won't have to learn a whole new language. Just highlight the command you want and push a button. That's all there is to it.
Networking seems like an expensive solution. Is it?
The AT&T StarLan network is the leader in low-cost PC networks. None of our competitors' products is priced lower, and its high-performance capabilities enable the StarLan network to provide exceptional price performance.
How can I be sure that StarLan will not be obsolete in a few years?
The StarLan network is based on industry standards. It is compatible with MS-DOS 3.1 and the NetBIOS interface, two emerging network software standards. In addition, it conforms to the IEEE standard for networks using CSMA CD technology. And most important, it's from AT&T, so you can count on service and support, now and in the future.
Why should I buy your network instead of IBM's?
The StarLan network provides superior price and performance. Each workstation's cost is significantly less than in token ring configurations. StarLan also supports a broader range of workstations and processors. Your IBM PC and compatible will run on StarLan, so your current investment in PCs is protected. Add both of those to the wiring simplicity and flexibility of a StarLan network, and your decision is an easy one. I want to thank you for taking part in this exercise. We are confident that the strategy and information outlined here will be of help to you in your future sales. Remember, if you keep these points in mind, you could not only make your sale, but if you visit your customer a few months later, your visit could go like this.
Jim, good to see you again. Thanks for coming by. Please, have a seat. You know, you were right about StarLan. It's working out great. In fact, I think we might even be ready for some of those other items you were talking about, like the 3B2 for accounting and a few of those printers that you mentioned.
Now turn to Module 5 in your workbook for information on the next steps in selling the StarLan network from AT&T, the right choice.